I'm a little late, but I did get around to seeing Venom: The Last Dance, and let me just say, it's definitely one of the movies of all time, and the trilogy it's a part of deserves to at least be in the conversation for one of the comic book movie trilogies ever made. It will go down in history as one of the movies in 2024, that's for sure. Hey everyone, I'm the guy with no name. Thanks for stopping by my channel. So, like I said, rather than putting a late review out, I figured I'd just rank all the live-action installments of the Sony Spider-Man Universe. You know, the ones without Spider-Man in them. But yeah, I did that with Despicable Me 4. I just ranked everything in the franchise, and it got me the most views I've ever gotten on any video. So, here's to hoping history repeats itself. But yeah, please like and subscribe to show your support, and let's get into it. From worst to best, number 5. If you've seen this movie, it's not surprising to see Madam Web at the bottom of this list. It's not just one of the worst comic book movies ever made, but one of the worst films ever made, period. No one does a good job in this, except Adam Scott and Emma Roberts, neither of whom are in it very much. The only good part about this movie are some of the sequences showcasing Madam Web's powers, which were kind of unique. The plot, acting, directing, dialogue, complete with the villain's lines being dubbed over and completely out of sync with his lips, etc., they're all just so awful. I have to believe they were trying to make a bad movie. That's the only way this movie's existence makes any sense. 4. Morbius. I almost switched this one with the number 3 spot, but ultimately I had less fun and was more frustrated with Morbius, solidifying its 4th placement. Unlike Madam Web, some parts of this movie lead me to think some effort was put forth into making this film, but it's still so sloppy. The best part of the movie has got to be Matt Smith's villainous character, and keep in mind, Smith notoriously revealed he had no idea what he was doing and just did his own thing the majority of the time. How such confusion happened in the production of a movie with a reported $75 million budget is beyond me. One thing's for sure though, I'll never get the image of Jared Leto pretending to drink a bag of synthetic blood out of my head. It's Morbin time. Sorry about that, couldn't help myself. Anyway, number 3, Venom: Let There Be Carnage. I admit that while I've read a decent amount of comics, and while I was aware of the character of Carnage, there was a lot I didn't know about him. His reputation preceded him as a terrifying villain, so I was excited to see him face off against Venom. It didn't need to do a whole lot to entertain me, and yet it still ultimately fumbled the ball. It was once again sloppy, weak on plot, mediocre in the acting department, too short and rushed, and ultimately forgettable. I'm sorry, but Venom fighting Carnage in a movie should not be forgettable in any way, but it definitely was. Number 2, Venom: The Last Dance. Just so we're clear, the quality of Venom 3 is much closer to that of Venom 2 than of Venom 1, unfortunately. Once again, this movie was too short, and there's lots of illogical and nonsensical plot points and character choices throughout. Speaking of characters, most of them are one-dimensional. But the saving grace once again is the ridiculous yet admittedly entertaining relationship between Eddie and Venom. Not to mention some heartfelt moments spread throughout. Side note, House of the Dragon needs to stop taking multi-year breaks between seasons because Rhys Ifans deserves better. And finally, without further ado, number 1, Venom. I, like many others, was skeptical when Sony announced a new sub-franchise of comic book live-action movies revolving around Spider-Man characters, but without Spider-Man, starting with a whole film about Venom. I also was not too thrilled about a less villainous, more anti-hero-like Venom. I ultimately enjoyed this movie more than expected, though. Tom Hardy plays a role I'm not used to seeing from him. His relationship with the symbiote known as Venom was pretty fun, and I liked the action quite a bit. It gave me hope that maybe Sony could use this okay movie and build on it, which of course turned out to be a fool's hope. So there you have it, my ranking of the live-action Sony Spider-Man Universe movies. Let me know in the comments what your ranking would be. I'd love to compare and contrast our lists. And also, with Kraven the Hunter almost here, what are your thoughts on how you think it'll be? Do you have any hope that it'll be good? I know I sure don't. If you couldn't tell, I'm not a big fan of these movies. I kind of wish they'd go the way of the DCEU. But yeah, thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, check out my ranking of all 7 Alien movies as well. Appreciate you guys. This is Guy with No Name, signing off.